Recently, I've shared a video with my thoughts about the experience of living in Germany with or without speaking German. And seems like the topic resonated a lot, so I would like to add a bit more on this. The whole idea of learning the language of the country you consciously choose to call your new home is, without a doubt, a must, at least from my point of view. For me, it's a sign of respect, but also an alignment with my own values, because I respect my choice itself. But for many people who watch this video, the whole idea of immigration might be not reflecting their real personal experience, so it became only a discussion point. That's why I want to share my immigration story. I moved to Germany as the student, and frankly speaking, from the day one, I felt that I want to settle down here. I know there is no perfect place in the world, but for me, Germany offered the perfect combination of rules and opportunities that I was looking for. So, for my very first semester of my master's degree, I challenged myself to actually learn German. Honestly, before coming here, I barely knew maybe 10 German words and never thought that Germany would be one day the place I would call my home. But destiny decided otherwise, and you know what? I accepted the opportunity. So, as a student, we immediately got the German classes every Friday as an additional subject in our program. And if you have studied any foreign language in a group of maybe 20ish people around you, you probably know how it usually goes. I can say that it didn't meet my expectations, and as I'm very much goal oriented person, I decided to put an effort in this work by myself. I did research online, found book recommendations for self study, ordered it on Amazon, and immediately started building a daily habit of small steps. I challenged myself to do at least 30 minutes of German practice every single day, no exception. Even on Christmas or New Year's Eve or any other day when I had my one day trip to somewhere cities nearby, I still found the time to do one or maybe two or maybe sometimes even more exercises from the book. That seems small in the beginning but turned into big progress at the end. I started gaining momentum. I even began chatting with my classmates in German and asking them to explain me something. At the beginning, that was just few phrases, but step by step, I overcame slowly but surely my resistance to the new vocabulary and started to see the results. And you know what? I honestly can say that reaching a basic level of German was relatively easy, at least for me. Once I got this routine and was practicing every single day, I tried watching TV shows, movies in German, listened to radio shows, and after a year and a half, I moved to Potsdam. I was able to find an apartment and handle all the bureaucratical tasks completely by my own. Of course, it was super stressful, but I was incredibly proud of myself. That experience showed me that I am a director of my own movie and I have all the tools and all the courage I need to make it go my way. And since that milestone, my German has kept improving. But not as fast as I wish to, because I always worked in international environment where my main working language always was English. But here comes the second part of the story. Speaking the language in a foreign country is not enough. When I started building my personal relationships here, I quickly realized that speaking German at a level sufficient for daily life is completely different from speaking it at a level where you can express your full self. Everyone who has an immigration background knows how this experience can actually create the identity crisis. For me, the inability to fully express my feelings, thoughts, observations in German became a real problem. I remember speaking to my boyfriend, German boyfriend at the time, trying to explain something very emotional and realizing that despite all the enthusiasm, I could only express maybe 10% out of what I really wanted to say there. And later, I understood that reaching the deeper level of language requires not just expanding your vocabulary, but also shifting your mindset. Many people think of language as just a tool for communication, but in fact, language is the DNA of the culture. It shapes how people think. Just look at the structure of the German sentence, and you can clearly see that the German speakers actually might have a slightly different way of thinking, just based on their way of building the sentence. So, to truly immerse myself, I realized that I really need to go beyond just grammar and vocabulary. I have to understand the cultural reference, traditions, idioms, double meaning, and even fairy tales characters. The kids that are growing in Germany know that since their beginning of their life. For me, it was something that I need to learn because all those things are hidden beneath the surface of everyday communication. And that doesn't come from the textbooks or classes, but from talking and building relationships with locals and living the culture helps to explore this hidden area of the cultural DNA. And that's why I really want to acknowledge the effort of everyone who is learning a new language in the new country, not only talking about Germany, because learning a language and integrating into new culture requires real intrinsic motivation and curiosity to explore the DNA of the country. And it also helps you discover yourself in these new settings. That's why I keep working on my German. I never switch to English whenever people approaching me in German. I keep going with all those chit chats with random people, sometimes happening to me in public transport. And I'm pretty sure that one day I actually would be able to express my whole self in German as much as I can do this in English or in my native language. And with that said, wish me luck and let me know what do you think about that. And yes, don't forget to mention what foreign language you speak. And of course, see you in my next episodes that are already available on my channel. Take care and see you very soon. Bye bye.